What's up, folks? Welcome to the latest episode of Two Beers, well that's one, and one movie. And as always, it's always Moretti. It seems to be my go-to beer lately. I think I'm going to become an alcoholic doing these videos, although I don't really get through many of them because they're quite short videos. But yes, I do continue drinking once the video's over. But yeah, thank you for hopefully for tuning back in. I'm not actually talking a whole load of shit, which I do tend to do. So yeah, basically my review today is Denis Villeneuve. I do think I pronounced that correct. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. His epic Dune, the first of a trilogy. Obviously now the sequel has been announced. I remember seeing the original years ago as a kid, and I was never really. I always thought it was a bit shit, to be honest. Even as a kid, I really didn't like it. Then I ended up watching it again a few years ago, and I thought it was even worse. I thought it's just an absolute fucking mess. It's just like, and I always overheard or read that the author of the book never thought it could be made into a movie, given there's so much going on in the actual scale and the world of Dune. But then he gives it a bash. He gives it a really good go, and I must say it is absolutely epic. And I don't mean epic in like it's one of the best movies ever made. I mean like the grand scale of it is just epic, and you really need to see this on the big screen, because it's just to think of, like, if the first one you would have seen, I don't know, Star Wars on the big screen, or Jurassic Park, or Lord of the Rings, that type of just epicness. You're looking up at the screen and it's just whoa. As with all his movies, it's methodical, it's slow. He's one of my favourite directors. I think Blade Runner, as you can see just there, Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best movies ever made, I think. This may be blasphemy, but I think it's edges the original Blade Runner. Don't shoot me. I do. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. The score, the sound, everything was amazing. And although I do love the original Blade Runner as well, and with this, with Dune, it goes into sci-fi. He's gone back into sci-fi. It's a different feel to Blade Runner. Obviously, it's going off source material. I know Dune had a big following as well. Maybe not as big as Blade Runner, but it did have a big following. Really didn't have a hard act to follow in terms of the film, where Blade Runner 2049 did. As I mentioned, the original Dune is absolutely shocking. But this feels a lot more cohesive. There's an actual story, and one thing that they didn't explain really was in the first movie, just they explained it really, really poorly in terms of what the spice was, why they needed it. Now I know why they need it now, but I remember watching it as a kid and I just thought this is a bit of a mess. And when I mean a kid, I was about 12, 13, so it was a bit of a mess. But this really explains the actual, the mythology, explains the backstories really, really well. And with all Denis' movies, there's a real calmness to it. There's a real slow moving, building towards something, like all his films. And they're always shot amazing. Every movie he makes is just absolutely gorgeous. Whether it be Prisoners, Arrival, obviously, oh my god, Arrival, or Sicario. I absolutely adore Sicario. But with Dune, so if I get back into it, really, obviously, like, there was a huge hype with this, given the original movie, given who was directing it. Some of the early reviewers were saying it's massive, it's so grand in scale, it's beautiful. Like, this is true, it is beautiful. Everything they said about that. With the actual story itself, firstly I felt it was a little bit too long. Now I know it's like just over 2.5 hours. There's some parts I felt that maybe it was just like filler almost, like, because if you want an epic movie it has to be epic long. I could have done with this being 2 hours or 2 hours 15 minutes, to be honest. His style is so unique that sometimes it doesn't suit certain films, and when there is like action scenes in this, they are really spectacular, they are really good. And the characters are all really good too. Like Rebecca Ferguson is just momentous in this. Oscar Isaac, I love him in everything. I'm not really a huge fan of Timothy. I know a lot of people are. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, it's just my opinion. Love Josh Brolin and everything he does as well. He's just, he's so good. But in terms of performances, Rebecca Ferguson is absolutely fantastic. She's brilliant in everything as well. And Oscar Isaac as well. He's just so cool. He's so engaging. He just grabs the screen every time he's on it, and it's just, yeah, them two performances really stood out. As I said, the war scenes are spectacular. The cinematography is just amazing. The sound design, and the score, everything, all of this is just absolutely fantastic. And it's really interesting. Like, the narrative is so interesting, and as I said, it's explained a lot better than it is in the original movie, and it does keep you engaged for the most part, other than the few little moments where I felt that maybe, just maybe, like, they could have cut down just a little bit. The next one really does kind of have to, like, kind of up the ante. The way it ends, like, just, again, I'm not going to give away spoiler, but the way it ends, kind of, there is going to be a bit of a war. It does have that, like, it's gone in the Lord of the Rings direction, Star Wars direction with each trilogy. Like, the ironic thing, this is kind of like a Star Wars for art house lovers, if that makes sense, because it has, like, because of who's directing it. And I really do think he's going to have a bit of fun with the next one. I think he said it himself as much in an interview. He will have a bit of fun with it. I definitely would see this on the big screen. It's not a film, like, if you have a big telly at home, you'll still enjoy it. But it's just, it's so massive that, like, especially the sandworm, them scenes when some of the war scene comes on, you're really going to need to experience it in a cinema. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. It'll definitely go into one of my best films this year. Maybe not the best, maybe not in the top 5 I've watched, but yeah, definitely one of the best. It is good, it's enjoyable, it's very interesting, it's beautiful to watch, and as I mentioned, the score, the direction, the performances from Ferguson and Isaac are absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think what I'll give this is 3.5 beers out of 5, which is basically 7 out of 10. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next, to be honest. I'm not sure, I'll think about it, we'll see what happens. What I am going to do near the end of the year is I'm going to do my best films from letterboxd, but not just films that were released in 2021. I always like to do films I've watched for the very first time ever, as, like, sort of a review. So I will be doing sort of a small little recap of the year of what I watched. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you have tuned in, tune back in to hear me talk absolute shite again about films that you probably absolutely love, and I'm ruining them. But please like, subscribe, hit those buttons. That sounds so cheesy. And hopefully, I'm not sure what I'll do, but maybe I'll do an older film, a review of an older film, because I like doing reviews of older films. It's not just going to be new films all the time. Maybe a TV show next one, I don't know. I am rewatching The Walking Dead, so maybe I'll do that. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon. Peace out.